Hey everyone. So, we're not just going to review the SSC MTS exam from the second shift of February 17th. Nope, we're going to crack it wide open. By really digging into this one paper, we can find the hidden patterns and build a solid game plan for your own prep. Let's dive right in. So, what's the big secret, right? Well, it's this. A single exam paper can pretty much reveal the entire playbook of the test setters. It shows us which topics are on repeat, what new stuff is popping up, and, most importantly, it tells you exactly where to put your energy to get the best results. Okay, let's start with the absolute foundation of the general awareness section, history and culture. You know, these questions are often the bedrock of the paper, so getting a handle on the patterns here is just absolutely crucial. First up, a real classic. The location of the Sanchi Stupa in Madhya Pradesh. This is fundamental stuff, a definite must-know if you're serious about this exam. No excuses on this one. Next, we've got a question from medieval history about Maharaja Ranjit Singh's capital. See, another direct fact-based question. This tells us that memorizing key details about the major kingdoms still a super important part of your study plan. And here we go, a question on temple architecture. That's a theme that comes up again and again. The builder of the Jagannath temple was Anantavarman. But what's really interesting about this question isn't just the answer itself, it's where it came from. Exactly. This is not a new question at all. It's a PYQ, a previous year question. This is solid proof that the exam setters are literally pulling from their old question banks. The takeaway here is so simple. If you are not studying PYQs, you are just leaving easy marks on the table. And here's a bit of a curveball. The bearded man from Mohenjo-Daro. This question is a big deal because it's the first one we've seen from the Indus Valley civilization in quite a while. It's a great reminder that even topics that seem quiet can suddenly roar back to life. So, wrapping up the culture section, there was a really clear focus on dance. We saw questions on the Chham dance from Himachal Pradesh and the Dangi folk dance from Gujarat. This pattern points straight to a growing focus on state-specific folk traditions. You gotta know them. All right, let's switch gears. Now we're going to map out the knowledge they tested in geography and science. How do these questions fit into the patterns we've already spotted? Let's see. From geography, we got this question about Paradip Port on the Mahanadi River Delta. This just proves what we see time and time again. River systems, their tributaries, and the major cities or ports along them are a super high priority topic, for sure. Over in biology, the spotlight was on the function of the heart's septum. Now, this is a clear signal for you. It's not enough to just know the names of body parts. You have to understand exactly what they do. Physics chimed in with a question about echoes. You know, the minimum time you need between a sound and its reflection to hear it as a distinct echo? It's 0.1 seconds, a classic concept from the sound chapter. And just to show the range of difficulty we're dealing with, we also got this very fundamental question from physics. The symbol for net charge is just a lowercase q. This is a great reminder that the paper mixes some tough topics with some very basic foundational knowledge. You know, every exam has them. Those questions that just make you scratch your head and go, where on earth did that come from? This section is all about those curveballs, the ones that are really designed to see who's done their homework. I mean, look at this. This question is a perfect example. Not an Indian satellite, but a European one from 1975. The level of detail here is pretty staggering. It just goes to show you that they can pull questions from anywhere, way beyond just national news or recent events. And here's another deep cut, the MAB Programme. I bet a lot of you might not have even heard of this UNESCO environmental initiative. This is a classic example of a question that's there to separate the top 1% of candidates, the ones with really broad general knowledge. The unexpected questions kept coming with books and musical instruments. We saw these really specific author questions, and one about a type of drum from Nagaland. Now, pay close attention to this. The focus on specific musical instruments is a newer trend that's really been picking up steam lately. Okay, we've seen all the individual questions, but what does it all mean? This is where we connect the dots. We're moving from just looking at questions to seeing the big picture pattern that links this exam shift to the one right before it. This is where the real strategy is. This slide right here reveals the entire strategy. Look, in the morning shift, 5-year plans were a topic. In the afternoon shift, boom, a specific question on the 9th plan. Morning shift, a question on Guru Nanak. Afternoon, Guru Angad Dev. Morning, crop seasons. Afternoon, a question about a specific Rabi crop. The pattern could not be any clearer. The same core topics are being tested on the very same day, just in different shifts. This is huge.
So the big question is, what do you do with this information? Well, that brings us to our final section, a straight-up, actionable checklist for your final revision sprint, based completely on the patterns we've just uncovered.
Here is your game plan. Based on everything we just saw, you have to prioritize these 6 areas. Know the 5-year plans inside and out. Go through the history of all the Sikh gurus. Memorize your crop seasons. Review the major river systems. Make those PYQs your absolute best friend. And finally, do not sleep on the new trends of state-specific dances and musical instruments. This is your high-yield, must-do revision list. So there you have it. We've decoded the paper. We've exposed the pattern. The strategy isn't a secret anymore. The only question left is, now that you know exactly where to focus your efforts, which topic are you going to master first?